G'day folks, Nat here from Living Entertainment North Coast. Today I want to have a chat with you about the all-new Rotel A11 and CD11 Tribute. Now, what makes this CD11 and A11 Tribute more special than the old one? Well, it's because of the audio engineering legend Ken Ishiwata, and he worked in conjunction with Rotel's engineers on tuning both of these products. Ken had a passion for entry-level audio components, but he also had a passion for squeezing the most performance out of them that was possibly feasible. And that's where his legend really began. It was products that every man could afford, and he did his best job at doing that. But it wasn't just the normal folks that thought he did a good job. His products were awarded multiple times over the decades, and that's why he's one of the audio industry's legends. Now, according to Rotel, that's what Ken has done with this CD11, creating more space in the music, more detail, more clarity, and giving more of a genuine sound to the audio. Now, this was done through changes to the power supply, the DAC chip, and carefully revising the components in the audio signal path. Now, using the same processes, the A11 amplifier is said to have a more richer, more expressive, and a more true-to-life sound. Now, to prove this, we're going to set it all up, have a listen, and let you know what we think. Now, as you can see behind me, we've got 3 speakers set up. We're going to listen to each one of these through the A11 and CD11 Tribute. Each one of these speakers have their own sonic signature, and we feel like it's going to highlight what the amp and CD player are made of. Now, the first set of speakers are the KEF LS50 Metas, the second the Wharfedale Diamond 12.2, and the third on the outer edge are the Monitor Audio Bronze 100s. So I've just done the listening sessions with the 3 speakers. Now, what's a little bit surprising here is that one speaker in particular didn't carry its normal sonic signature through as much as I'm used to. So I'll just start with the KEF. Now, this definitely did what it normally does as far as imaging is concerned. It imaged great, the vocals were nice and high, clarity was there, just a really nice sound on the A11. What surprised me a little bit was that the speaker didn't necessarily show the amp up. I mean, you're talking about a speaker here that's more than double the price of the amplifier. So, you know, I wouldn't rule it out if you like the A11. Consider the LS50 Meta, you might be surprised. Now, moving on to the Wharfedale 12.2. Now, this is the one that changed its sound a fair bit more than what I'm used to. In this particular scenario, the mid-range stood out really far in the mix. It was just right forward, and the treble and the bass were sort of much further back in the music, and it took away a little bit of liveliness that I'd normally be used to. So because of that, I wouldn't actually recommend this combination unless you've particularly got a room that's, sort of really sucked out in the mids. You maybe got a whole heap of dampening in there. It could suit some of those rooms. Moving on to the next speaker, which was the Monitor Audio Bronze 100. This one by far would be the one that I would recommend for a couple of reasons. Mainly because it's price appropriate. It's something you would normally blend with this, but its performance was really quite nice. This Tribute actually really added something extra more than what the old A11 did. It's still got that Rotel liveliness, but with a touch of sophistication that I'm not used to. So imaging was good, not quite as good as the KEF, but that's to be suspected. Bottom end was full and reasonably controlled. Mid-range was balanced in the mix, and the treble was detailed but without too much fatigue going on or anything like that. So thumbs up for the Monitor Audio Bronze 100 paired up with the Rotel A11 CD11 Tribute. That's my recommendation at this price point. Obviously there's going to be a bunch of other speakers out there, they're going to work really well, but what I've listened to today over these 3 speakers, that's the one. Now I just want to talk a little bit about the products themselves, their inputs, outputs, and the overall sound quality in comparison to the old models. So we'll start with the CD player. So firstly, let's talk about the finish. On the front, we've got this nice aluminium front bezel. It's got a brush look, which is actually really nice in person. The top is more of a speckled sort of finish. You might see there's sort of a bit of a texture up the top there. Now I'll start with some of the buttons. On the far left here, we obviously have the power button. We've got the CD tray here, the eject button, the play button, stop button, pause, rewind, and fast forward. Last but certainly not least is that beautiful looking tribute badge, which funny enough, I think it actually sets the whole thing off. It looks really nice. Now if I flip it around to the back, we have your analog RCA outputs here. We have a digital coaxial out, an RS-232 for automation, a Rotel link in and out. You'll see that on the amplifier as well, which links the 2 products together. 12-volt trigger for triggering on other devices such as the amplifier and the power slot. Now coming back to the digital output. Now if you've got a nice DAC or external DAC, digital to analog converter if you like, it might be worth using this digital out and essentially turning this into a transport only. If you don't, however, obviously you do have those analog RCA outputs, and this does just a fine job at that. Now onto the amplifier. As before, you've got the nice brushed finish on the front here, the speckled top and vents for airflow. Just here you actually have your headphone jack, your speaker A plus B, which I'll get to in a second and explain that, and here are your inputs: phono, tuner, CD, aux, and Bluetooth. Over here we have the menu button. Pressing that will engage the menu and bring up all the options, and then your toggle switches to operate the menu. And the very important thing, the volume knob. And once again, the beautiful little tribute tag. Now turning it around, on the back here, on the far left, we have the phono input. Now this is specifically for moving magnet or very high output moving coils. And there's the ground lug. Moving on, we have the CD input, tuner, aux1, aux2, and a set of pre-outs. Now, if you wanted to, you could hook this up to an external power amplifier to get more power if you wanted to. Now up here you have the Bluetooth receiver. So over here we actually have the external remote in. This is for the Rotel link that you would have seen before on the CD11. Here we have 2 12-volt trigger outputs. Once again, the RS-232 for automation. And below here, circling back to the speaker A and B, this is your 2 sets of binding posts. Now, if you have a set of speakers in one room and then another set of speakers in another room, this is where you can utilize the speaker B. Now, when you're doing that, make sure that both sets of speakers are 8 ohm. You don't want to go below 4 ohm on this amplifier. You could cause some damage. But if you do have 2 sets of 8 ohm speaker pairs, you're good to go, and you can actually do 2 zones. And you can simply toggle that through pressing the A, B buttons or A plus B buttons on the front. Now over here is once again the power socket. Talk about how these things sound, I need to talk about how the old models sound, the A11, CD11, the original incarnations. Well, the big thing that I got from those old models was a sense of rock and roll, and they really delivered that. Plenty of treble, lots of bass, crank it up, it was just a fun listen. These new ones have a good dollop of that. They haven't lost that, but it's added an air of sophistication. If you wanted to compare it, you could say that the old A11 was like Pink Floyd's Pipers at the Gates of Dawn, whereas the Tribute would be more Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, if you like. So it hasn't changed a whole lot, but the changes they have made are really important, and overall it's a much nicer listen, and I personally really like what they've done. And good on Rotel and good on Ken for his late works. Once again folks, thanks so much for watching this video. Now if you'd like to know anything more about this product or any other product that we sell, please feel free to comment below, send us a message, give us a call, or simply pop in store. Now before you go, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Bye for now.